Okay, and now we're going to get into the shower stall and the curb. But before that, let's back it up a little bit. Let me show you guys what I was doing first. So the first thing I ended up doing was framing out the walls within this shower stall. I had to lower the ceiling because I wanted it to work out with my tile elevations and all those finishes that I had selected for this area. All that stuff's very important. Before you even frame anything out, you want to make sure you account for all your finishes. And so that's what I did here, bumped out the walls and also lowered the ceiling. And after all that was done, remember, I ended up moving the window over to the middle of the stall. This is very important because you want to make sure you have that symmetry in the shower and you're not going to have any, imperfections with location of your window. So I had to make sure that I took the center of the shower stall and then transferred all that stuff outside so that the window would be in the right spot. Okay, and remember, now that the flooring is done inside the restroom, I'm going to start working on the shower stall. Now at this point, I already have a newborn baby, so I got to be very strategic with my timing so I can help out the wifey and also do my DIY stuff. So here I'm working on the shower curb. You can see I'm using a couple of 2x4s for starters, but then I'll eventually add another layer of 2x4s so that I can get the overall height of my curb right. And after my 2x4s were already installed for my new shower curb, I ended up cutting out the hole for my new drain. Now I already had the plumbing roughed in below the crawl space as you saw earlier in the video. Now it's time to really get that final location of where exactly I want my drain to be. Now very similar to the window, I had to rinse and repeat, get the center line of my shower stall, transfer that down to the floor, and make sure that I was not going to be hitting a 2x10. Everything worked out fine, ended up cutting out the hole, installed the new drain, then I made those final plumbing connections as well. Okay, and after the drain base and the adjustable drain barrel was installed, I ended up cleaning up the entire area so I could get ready to install my felt paper and my subfloor base. Did a little bit of cleaning with my shop vac. Make sure there's not going to be any more wood grains on the floor. I wanted to make sure this area was completely clean before I installed any of my subfloor prep material. So first things first, I'm cutting out a piece of felt paper so that I can put it as the moisture barrier between my crawl space and my new floor. Now, there's different ways of doing this, obviously, but since I'm in an elevated floor, I have a crawl space underneath, I'm just blocking out that moisture from any potential buildup. That underneath of the house is going to get some closed cell foam insulation, so it's going to really add an additional layer of protection from any potential moisture. But this is still something to help it, start off the process so that you can get your subfloor pre-slope going. And so to do that, what I'm using is some cement board. You can see I'm using a couple pieces that were left over from my tile installation. And so it's fine. You can use a full piece if you like, but this is another way you can save some money if you have some leftover pieces. Okay, and so one other thing to note, remember, I'm in a crawl space. I don't have a slab on grade. Therefore, I'm using these pieces to act as my substrate before I even install my pre-slope. So that's what I'm going to work on here, getting the entire pre-slope on this cement board, and then eventually I'll work my way by installing the shower liner and then the rest of the material so I can bring that all up to elevation. Okay, and so now that we have the shower liner installed, I kind of went ahead of myself there a little bit, but I wanted to show the process of installing a new shower curb. Now essentially all I did was cut out a complete piece using some of the cement board here. I just scored it and then I just let the wire mesh within the cement board kind of hold it all in place, and then I just fit it in position over the existing curb. I ended up screwing using some 1 5/8 inch screws that come specifically for this product, and I only ended up screwing it on the outside. After I ended up putting it in position, I filled in some of the gaps here with some mortar mortar mix, and then just kind of made sure that I was applying enough where I needed to get it right in all the spots. Alright, so now that the curb is done, what I'm working on now is the sides. And so the front and the back, really where the fixtures are and where the niche is going to be. You may be wondering, what do you keep to prevent the inside of the curb from flapping up or moving? Well, I'll show you. Essentially, when you put this piece on, that bottom corner there by my left foot, that inside portion of the Hardie board is going to hold it in place and it's not going to move up. So that's what I ended up doing on both sides, and that was my method that I used to kind of keep and prevent that shower curb from moving any further. Alright, and after everything was installed, I started applying some mortar on the curb. Now I just used some mesh tape. It's probably a little overkill on the mesh tape. You probably only need to do it on the joints. You probably don't even need mesh tape at all. But I was trying to figure out what the best way to apply the mortar on this was, and so essentially you can just apply it right on the joints and it should be good. It's not going to go anywhere. Alright, and after that was done, I started prepping everything within my shower. So here's what I'm working with now, but I did make a critical mistake when I was working on this, and I'll show you what that was. So let me show you. So the mistake I made was that obviously this was the first time I ever worked with this James Hardie Hydro Defense product, and so I did not leave a 1/4 inch gap per the manufacturer's instructions. And so I ended up calling the manufacturer, asked why this was necessary, and essentially they said that if you apply this product within the mortar bed itself, over time the water will build up, moisture will build up, it'll deteriorate the Hardie board at the bottom side, and your tile will end up cracking or even falling apart from the wall. So I figured, let me just go ahead and repair this, fix this, do it the right way. I did not want to have any issues in the future, so that's what I ended up doing. So if you are going to be using this product, something to consider is that you leave this 1/4 inch gap there at the bottom. That way you don't have any manufacturers or warranty issues with your installation later on down the road. And so after that was repaired, you can see my 1/4 inch gap there at the bottom. I did it consistently all the way around the entire perimeter. I started applying my red guard. Now I didn't have to do it over the entire Hydro Defense product because it's already applied with that technology, so I ended up just applying it only on the areas that I had to apply some mortar throughout the joints. I also ended up doing this on the mortar bed, as you see here. I let that dry for a couple of days, and then I came back a couple of days later and started working on the tile installation. First things first was working on the floor, got my pattern here going around the drain, got this all in position. Once this all was cut, even all the perimeters, I let that dry for about a day, and then I came back a couple of days later and started working on the walls. First thing first was the back wall. Here's my tile. I ended up going with huge, large format tiles because I wanted this to be the accent wall. Started working on the cuts around the window, all the way up and down. Kind of let that dry, utilizing some shims there, as you see here. Put some tape around the window. Really liked the way it looked. Kind of let this dry for another day or two. And then I came back a couple of days later, started working on the shower curb. Ended up pulling a full piece, just as you see here. Got to get this area done next because if I'm going to work on the walls, you got to have this one in position so that you can start working with the cuts around this curb. And so that was kind of the reason why I had to go jump on this curb right after the back wall was done. Okay, and now that the floor, the accent wall, and the shower curb pieces are complete, I ended up jumping on the wall where I have my shower head and my valve. I ended up utilizing my laser just to make sure that I was plumb along the entire installation. Didn't want to have to worry about any difficult cuts along the way, so definitely recommend you guys using a laser if you don't have one. That way it helps you stay consistent with your cuts and your placement. And then you can see here on this side, I'm working on my niche. Now I did the installation about 3 or 4 feet up until I got to the niche location, and then I started cutting it out. And the reason I did this was because I wanted to have my tile pattern line up exactly where I wanted it to be. Now traditionally a lot of people can work and get this knocked out in one round, but that's not me. I wanted to make sure that my cuts were being consistent all the way up, and then I was gonna line up exactly where I want it with my niche. Ended up getting this fully cut out, utilizing my oscillating tool with my vacuum, and then I ended up cutting a piece just so I could install on the back side. screwed that in position, and after that was done, I ended up just working on the rest of the tile throughout this wall. First things first was obviously applying my little shelf here, make sure that this was installed. Got the right slope going to it, but you can kind of see this kind of what it looks like now with the installation, the Schluters, and utilizing an extra accent piece tile in this back wall to give it that final look. And then after this was done, it was really on to the finishing touches. And overall, this bathroom took me about 22 days to complete by myself. You kind of saw the early stages of the video, part 1 where I just demoed the old kitchen out of the way, part 2 framing out the complete new setup for my new bathroom and closet, and then obviously part 3, this one with the bathroom finishes, kind of building up the shower curb, building out the framing around the bathroom, and then essentially just roughing in the rest of the components in to get it ready for use. Anyways, hopefully you guys found something helpful out of this video. Again, if you like some of this stuff, please subscribe to the channel. I'll be definitely putting out some more videos, some more DIY content of a lot of personal projects that I have working on. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll catch you guys again in the next one.